What up? This is Rama Screen. I'm here with the directors and the producers of Skid Row Marathon. Is that correct? Yes. I've seen the film. Congratulations. Very inspiring. And I told Judge Greg that I was a former marathon myself. I run marathons back in the day when I was in my 20s. So, congratulations. At one point, did you come across Judge Greg Mitchell's story, and why did you want a documentary?
Well, we read an article in the Los Angeles Times over 4 years ago, and it was a story about a judge who started a running club down on Skid Row, and he was helping people that were homeless, people in the Midnight Mission, to start running, and he started training them to run marathons. So I'm not totally into running. I mean, I'll run, but I don't love it like the judge does, or like Gabi does, the producer. Gabi loves running. She runs every day. So we heard about this. We were intrigued. We said, hey, why don't we go run with the running club? We had lived downtown for several years, and we said, wow, this is kind of interesting that this guy is trying to help people who are in a homeless situation. And we thought this would be something to look at. And even if we weren't going to make a documentary, just to run with the guys and the women and see what it was all about.
And as producers, what's the significance of this story?
I mean, it's a very hopeful, uplifting story. And especially now in these times, when you open a newspaper every day, you see an article almost about homelessness and about this problem that doesn't go away. And I mean, even since we started, and the homelessness has risen. Now we have 57,000 homeless people in LA County. And it's just like, it seems we can't find a fix for it. There's so much money involved, and what can we do to help solve this problem? And he is one man who's making a difference in his own way, in a small way, but he has changed hundreds of lives.
You, sir?
I joined the film fairly late, and it was kind of special for me because I saw an early cut of the film, an early rough cut, and I was so moved by it. It was one of those things where it wasn't me thinking about, this schedule or that schedule. I said, I have to do this film. I have to join these guys because it's such a powerful film at a time when we need a message like this, when maybe the headlines haven't been so great, and we need something about people who are able to find a better way, using their own stamina, their own abilities, and with the hope that the judge brought to them. I think that we need stories like this, and I feel like this is that kind of film that's going to inspire people all over the country.
Yes. Can you explain a bit about the challenges, logistic-wise, of capturing some of the shots of them running, and also how did you guys select which of the runners to focus on, story-wise?
Well, logistically, some of the problems we ran into were related to shooting people when they're in motion.
Yes.
It's not that easy to do that on a small budget. If you're doing a car commercial, they'll have a thing that's called a Russian arm. It's like a Porsche with an expensive camera, balanced and everything. We didn't have that. We had a Ford Explorer with the flap opened in the back, me hanging out the window, Gabi holding onto my belt, resting on a pillow, trying to get a steady shot as we drove around. Also, on Skid Row, people are not thrilled with the fact that they found themselves on Skid Row, and they're not really friendly to people that are photographing them without, it's an invasion of privacy. So we wanted to respect people's privacy, but at the same time tell the story of the judge and the running club. So many mornings we'd be down and people would throw bottles at us, threaten us. So that was a logistical problem. But usually we would just go out and say, look, we're making a documentary. It's not a rip-off or a hit job. It's about a very positive aspect of what's going on down here. And then we would get the cooperation of a lot of people in the area. But we had some very dicey experiences where people literally throwing bottles at us, threatening us, and we were told that a lot of the people, might have a knife or they're armed, but I understand that people who are maybe not proud of the fact that they're on Skid Row, they might want to protect their identities, and I understand that. So we tried to be very careful that we just really filmed the running club, and we're just very sensitive to people's privacy.
One of the other challenges was, we followed a lot of runners at the beginning, and some fell off the wagon again, and some relapsed, some disappeared, and so you had already filmed maybe 6 months of footage. and that person was gone. So that was kind of frustrating. And also, it takes a long time until a story develops. It took over 3 years, and changes don't happen overnight, like in a fiction film where you can just make it happen. You had to wait until this person was accepted, for example, into the San Francisco Conservatory of Music. You did not know ahead of time. So that was kind of frustrating sometimes to be patient.
Yeah, this is the hardest and the greatest thing about true stories is you take a risk. You take a big risk when you jump into a bunch of different stories. You don't know how they're going to turn out. And these guys had the patience of 4 years of work to watch this film mature, and that's what a documentary really is. That's what's so thrilling about seeing where it's come now, because these stories were earned for real. They weren't scripted. They weren't created out of false facts. This is the real thing, and this is what really happens. So that's what just makes this such a thrilling movie, is you're watching real stories. Yeah.
As I'm winding down to my final questions, I know this film hopefully would raise awareness, and also, people will start thinking like, okay, so what can we do to care for these folks? Because we hear policy plans, from Mayor Garcetti, or okay, so what's going to be happening? Do you hope that this will start something in the works?
Well, I would love to think that it would start something. And I think Mayor Garcetti is very aware of the homeless situation, as most Angelenos are. There's a recent Position H is going to give some of the sales tax to try to provide housing and assistance to people on Skid Row. But I think that it shows that when you see an intractable problem in society, that you shouldn't be paralyzed, that there's something you can do. I don't know what it is all the time. And when we saw the homeless deal, we didn't come up with any great solutions either. We were inspired by the judge to run with the running club and get involved, and then to make this documentary. But I think we're trying to show people that just by doing a little something that's part of a larger solution, that you can have an impact and make a difference in people's lives. And it's not about money. It's about attention and not falling into the trap of the bigotry of low expectations, as they say, that you can see people and just say, I'm not going to buy into the stereotype, that even though these people maybe are stuck on Skid Row temporarily, they have the potential to achieve great things and to better themselves. And they just need a helping hand, basically.
Now, how can my viewers at home who are not runners can help out? How can they help out?
And first thing I would say, you can go to the missions. There's always one way. The missions need help. You can donate. You can help in a small way, just to stop by and see what can you do. There's you can do singing with the mission. You can do reading with the mission. All these kind of things. Just give some time of your day or of your week just to stop by. That starts right there.
Last words, sir?
That's my favorite line in the movie, is when Judge Craig says, just do something. It's sort of a twist on the Nike logo, right? It's not do it for yourself, do something for someone else. And I think if everybody who sees this film just takes that home and does something, a little something, if we all did that, the country would be very different than it is now, for sure. And there'd be a lot of hope.
Thank you so much, and congratulations, sir.
Thanks, Rama. Thank you very much.
Thank you.